Alright, hey YouTube, we got Disaster Dragon finally. I don't think I've posted this deck profile yet, but I think we should just get right into it. So let's start with 3 Darkness Metal. I mean, Disaster Dragon deck, you gotta run 3 of this guy. He's best card in the deck probably, just free pluses every single turn. So yeah.
Totally ridiculous.
Prime Material, it's basically a main deck Stardust. I mean, I love this card. I love it, love it, love it. Dark Hole, just ditch to negate, just... He'll probably stay on the field for a long time. Then we got 2 Lad, mostly because I only have 2 totems. Lad's a great card. I mean, you can probably go about +3 off of Lad usually.
Big bitch.
And then he'll reborn a monster when he dies. So, I mean, Lad is MVP of the deck. You got 3 Wyverns, grab out your Darkness Metals. I mean, just awesome comeback card, or it'll help you set up. 3 Mass Dragons, common Ember's Blade basically. I mean, this card is really good. I used to not like it that much, but nowadays, I mean, you can grab Exploder Dragon with it, and your opponent probably won't attack into this with, like, if you drop it at the right time, because if your opponent attacks with, like, say a Kazan, you grab Exploder Dragon, and they really can only attack with that Xian, so they're like, damn. Yeah. It's got lots of plays. We got the 1 Drago. I like the 1 Drago in the main deck, because if you're developing an OTK, like, your opponent doesn't really have a back row based deck, kind of like Fish OTK or something like a Lightsworn deck running Decree or something like that. You can bring this guy out and try and attack for game, because they won't be able to Battle Fader you or Gorge you. I mean, he's very useful. Delta Flare, Dread Dragon are only tuners, not a whole lot of synchroing. I mean, I usually win the duel without even synchroing once. Now onto the spells, we got 3 Gold Sarks. I mean, format gave us 3, so why not play 3 to search out your Future Fusion, which is amazingly broken in here. You reveal 5-headed for it and dump 5, and that's your main win condition. I mean,
set up for Darkness Metal.
Yeah. I mean, it's, if you get this first turn, you can usually say GG. I mean, I've almost never lost if I get this first turn. We got Dragon Ravine. It kind of takes the work off Future Fusion. I mean, it screws with your hand a bit, but it's just a catalyst for turning cards in your hand into Foolish Burial. It's a nice card, but don't run any more than 1. Burial, you do quite a bit of removing with Wyvern, and if you go against Chaos Sorcerer, this is a very helpful card. Book, it's a nice card. It's limited for a reason. It's very, very useful. Chainable, so it'll screw up Gravekeepers a little bit. I don't know. I really like this card. It's a toolbox in a card. 2 MSTs, hit on those back row. I do not like back row at all. Dark Hole, Trunade, Reborn, Staples, don't really need to explain them. Torrential, Mirror Force. A lot of people are dropping these nowadays, but I find that Mirror Force especially is very, very helpful. But if you save it for, like, when they swarm 5 monsters, it's not going to go off. They're going to have protection if they swarm 5 monsters, but if you hit it when they're, like, poking for, like, 2 grand or something like that, then it'll screw them up a little bit. Torrential is, I don't know, it's a lot more disruptive, but we commit to our field quite a bit with dragons, so I'm not liking Torrential as much. So those are my 2 cents on those cards. Then we have, oops, kind of dropped some cards there. 2 Bottomless. I don't have warnings, but Bottomless is still pretty good. I mean,
Gonna be ghetto warnings.
yeah.
Gonna be ghetto.
I mean, this stops some decks pretty hard, but some decks can really abuse the fact that you Bottomless and not warning. Like Hero Beatdown, they'll just spark you and you just went like -2 or something, and it really sucks. But usually Bottomless is pretty good. Like if they go for a Scrap Dragon and they can't Prio Pop, then you just got some pluses. Solemn Judgment, staple. I mean, if you're not running Decree, you're probably running Solemn Judgment.
God says no.
Yeah, God says no. Royal Oppression, this is becoming a staple in decks that don't special summon like every turn. Like, probably the only deck I don't see running this is Plants or Fabled variants, but Fabled usually run Decree anyways. So, Oppression is very good, especially if you can control it with cards like Prime Material, because you can chain Prime's effect to the activation of your own Oppression and destroy it. So your opponent just paid 800 life points and you probably dumped like a Darkness Metal to the grave that you wanted in the grave anyways. So yeah, we can control Oppression pretty well. Deep Prison, I only have one, so I only run one. It's a great card, I mean, spot removal. 7 tools, I don't like traps at all. Stop the warning, stop the judgment, and it only costs 1,000 life points. It's pretty great. Mind Crush. I love this card. Oh my god. This has won me so many games where my opponent attacks with a light monster that is far lower than my Darkest Metal, and I say Mind Crush Honest, and they really don't have a response to that usually. Or if you're both top decking and maybe you say have a Darkness Metal on the field or something like that, and if they top deck Dark Hole, you can Mind Crush that Dark Hole if you're reading Dark Hole. I mean, Mind Crush is really good if you're good at reading your opponent. If you're not good at reading your opponent, then don't run Mind Crush. Just saying. Magic Drain, pretty tech card, but I like Magic Drain. I mean, stop that Reborn or change the MST target, basically. I mean, if they MST and you Magic Drain it and they discard like a Trunade or something like that, you're just like, wow, really? I just got some pluses. So yeah, Magic Drain's pretty good. Then we've got the extra deck, Android. I'm running this because I don't have a full extra deck. Catastor, again, same thing with Android. I mean, yeah. Proxy Iron Chain, I'm getting one of these soon, so you should have an Iron Chain if you're running Dragons. It's probably the only 6-star you'll ever be going for. Black Rose, standard. I mean, one Black Rose in the extra deck. Ancient Fairy, get rid of those Necro Valleys, search out your Dragon Ravine. It's pretty good. Exploder Dragon Wing. This is probably the best 7-star in the game. Oh my god, this card puts in so much work when I get it out.
Rate pace.
Kill those Spirit Reapers.
Rate pace.
Kill Monarchs really hard. I mean, popping a Monarch for 2400 damage ain't nothing to screw with. That hurts really bad. Double Stardust. I have space in my extra deck, so why not run 2? Red Dragon. I mean, Red Dragon's pretty good, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Red Dragon. I would rather run Scrap Dragon, but of course that card's pretty expensive, so that's not really an option. And then 5-headed, can't run dragons without it. I mean, it almost never ever comes out, but when it does, it is a 5,000 piece stick, and that is nothing to screw with. Because if this gets in a direct attack, your opponent is hurting really bad, or they're already dead. So yeah, that's the extra deck, and then we'll move on to the side deck, which is going to be pretty much the same on every Disaster Dragon deck, no matter what the variant is. First we got Triple Rivalry. Triple's not too much. I mean, certain decks like X-Sabers and Plants especially get hurt really bad by Rivalry.
Fish OTK. Yeah,
Fish OTK cannot win over this card unless they Trunade first. But I mean, this will force your opponent to side in some back row hate in game 3 if they, for some reason, win game 2 or you lost game 1 or something. A lot of people are running 2. I like 3, so I'll draw it more, but I don't know. Got the 2 Drago for those Chaos matchups, because Chaos Sorcerer went to 3, which is insane. Drago's really good. I mean, he's like a Thunder King for dragons. Not in the same sense where they can't search, but I mean, against the right decks, this will put in more work than Thunder King would. 19 beat stick. There's not a whole lot not to love. I mean, say you're not running Mind Crush, you might run 2 in the main deck, but I don't know. I like 1 in the main deck because you can usually toolbox it out. And then we've got 3 Dust Tornado. Hate Necrovelli. Hate Necrovelli. Gotta kill that Necrovelli. And Gravekeeper set tons of back row anyways, so just kill their back row. And again, for the Gravekeepers, we got triple Nobleman. I was running 2 for the longest time, but now I'm running 3 because I was not seeing it often enough, and I gotta hit those Spies and Recruiters. I hate those things so bad. Because I don't know. I have a fairly good matchup against Gravekeepers, but when I side heavily against them, it's even better. So, yeah. By the way, if you have 2 Hollow Noblemans, I'm looking for a playset. So, yeah. Then we've got a kind of techie Crevice. I used to run this in extra deck. Side deck, my bad. I used to side this in a lot, but now I almost never do. I'm probably going to take this out for something else. I'm really not sure, though. Then we've got another 7 tools. If I usually side this in against Gravekeepers, like I usually side out Magic Drain. I would like to run another Magic Drain in the side deck, but I really can't find one, oddly enough. So the idea is if you're going against like a Decree deck, you would side out your 7 tools and side in another Magic Drain. But against like Gravekeepers, for example, you'd side in another 7 tools. So you'd have lots of back row hate. So yeah, I think that covers just about anything. If you have any questions, comment, rate, comment, subscribe, you know the drill. See you YouTube.